everybody, welcome to episode 170 of Magic the Amateuring.
That's right, this is Magic the Amateuring, and that's no lie.
No, it's not. We would not lie to you about that.
Absolutely, but the more that we say it's not a lie, the more it starts to sound like one.
I swear to you guys, this podcast is actually called Magic the Amateuring.
I promise that this is episode 170.
It's not about trains.
No.
Definitely not a show about trains.
It's not, and it's not secretly a show hosted by cats or bros.
No. Definitely not a show about horses. Not that.
No, certainly not a show about horses.
It's really about magic.
It really is. It really is.
I'm one of your hosts who is definitely named Maria.
And I'm another one of your hosts whose name really is Meghan.
That's so weird. Like, I'm thinking of if you're in a like AA or any other group where you have to like sit around in some chairs and introduce yourself, and you're like, my name really is Maria. Like the way you started off. People are
just
like,
sounds like no.
Even though I have said nothing.
Or like for a job interview, I feel like that's the quickest way. Like one of the quickest ways you could kill a job interview. In like the first 5 seconds, you're out of contention if you say, "Hi, my name really is." You're in the name. It's like automatically people are like, what? No.
What?
This person is obviously not this person.
Do you know when I was younger, I used to play this game with my friend called On the Bus. Mm-hmm. And it was...
Your friend's name was On the Bus?
Yeah. Her parents were hippies. And that's where she was conceived. It was VW. No, it was like where you sit next to the person and we had to, do, in the fewest words possible, make the other person want to move to another seat on the bus.
Did you play this on city bus or school bus?
We were probably on school buses, but I mean, it's
I feel like
whatever.
It's a way more dangerous game on city bus.
Yes,
I feel like secretly most of the people who ride city bus are already playing that game.
They don't even know it.
They don't.
They are.
They don't.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk a lot about Pro Tour Shadows over Innistrad. You guys, it happened this past weekend.
It sure did. It was all the way. It really was in Madrid.
Yeah. We can assure you it was in Madrid.
Lots of people played. It was cut down to top 8. There was a winner. We'll talk all about it.
It was kind of overshadowed a little bit, which is funny because it was called Shadows over Innistrad. More like Shadows over Madridistrad. By some changes to competitive play and the way that Pro Tour players are compensated for their appearances at these events.
So we will talk all about that also.
Yes, we will. We've got exciting news too about a community super league coming up that Meghan and I are going to be a part of.
We're very excited.
Yes, very excited about that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Of course, remember you can donate to the show on Patreon, patreon.com/MTAcast. We have a great bevy of awards for every level.
Yes,
bevy. Yes. From $1 up to $10 an episode, you get really great gifts for being a part of the MtA Cast family, and we really appreciate guys.
We really appreciate
your patronage. Of course, you get access to our exclusive patron-only 5-minute extras of Maria and Meghan every episode.
That's right.
You don't want to miss that.
5-minute extras. What are they about? You don't know.
I mean, we can't say.
Unless you've heard them.
They're just super exclusive.
That's right.
That's all I can say about that.
They are top secret. There's a bouncer and a velvet rope.
Yep. And anybody who's not allowed in, you get spanked with that velvet rope. Now, that sounds like a perk. What am I trying to say?
Yeah, that doesn't sound that bad.
Anyways, yeah, so Patreon, we would love to have your support. It's like one way you can show the world / yourself that's something like you love and care about, that you're like, hey, I'm putting my money where my mouth is or whatever. I thought about this today actually because we're patrons of other shows, and now more and more artists are going on Patreon and just saying support me in my work. Every time I make a piece of work, we'll charge your Patreon account or whatever. And I was just thinking about this, and I was like, what if like I spent, $30 a month on whatever, a bunch of artists and bands and creators that I cared about. Yeah. I would feel like great to know that I was contributing to them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I totally agree.
This is a random thought
I had.
Contribute. Yes.
So,
yes.
There you go.
Anyway, so yeah, that's happening. Of course, Playmats t-shirts available, magictheamateuring.com. They're still in stock, but not for long.
That's right. Those playmats are going like hotcakes if hotcakes were a real thing.
What?
Do you think hotcakes are real?
I mean, I think it's just a pancake. A savory pancake.
Oh. Oh.
Did you think hotcakes was just not something that is a real thing?
I thought it was just like a saying. Maybe there were hotcakes once upon a time, but like not anymore.
Okay, hold on. Hotcakes. Oh, getyourhotcakes.com? Well,
That doesn't sound like...
I really want Wikipedia on
There's
this.
definitely pictures of pancakes when you Googled it.
Hotcakes is the third studio album by British rock band The Darkness.
Nailed it. Okay, hotcakes are a thing.
Yeah, it just
going
means
like when we
pancake.
if we say going like hotcakes, we mean going like the third album of The Darkness. They're a popular band, right?
I don't know them. Do
What? Yeah, you do.
I? What song?
Um,
Get dark. Get dark in here. Get dark.
no,
It's like
definitely
a
not.
rave band.
They like most notably, I want to say, Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
What? Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Wait, I just went to getyourhotcakes.com. That's not what I want.
That's
Wikipedia.
creepy. That just feels
Okay,
weird.
The Darkness.
Yeah, click on The Darkness.
Oh, 2002. I can. Megan, don't tell me to click on The Darkness.
Like, just click on The Darkness.
What do you mean? Ah! Hits. Discography. What?
Discography?
Discography. I believe in a thing called love.
Oh,
my
that's the one that I was thinking
God.
of. Yeah. I said Crazy Little Thing Called Love, which is a different
close.
song,
That's
but
a
I
great
was
song.
in my head singing
Do you know
I Believe in a
this
Thing Called
tune
Love.
by them? Get Your Hands Off My Woman.
No.
Yikes. Yikes. Anyway, yeah, hotcakes or pancakes. To
Anyways,
make a long story
no,
short.
they are selling as quickly as the third album by The Darkness.
Yes.
So get them quick.
Get them quick.
Yes.
Pro Tour Shadows over Innistrad, top 8.
Wow, you guys. This was, as some people noted, like such a diverse top 8.
Yes.
There were 8 different decks.
That's awesome.
We can't just be like, hey, remember that time that Mono Blue took everything by storm?
Or remember that time Eldrazi slayed everything in its path and left everyone
Exactly.
behind it just completely devastated?
Oh, completely devastated.
But now,
Tore them up.
they say this is a great sign of a healthy standard format.
Absolutely. And what I think is personally a great sign of a healthy standard format, there are so many of these that I want to play.
That is good.
I couldn't pick, which is why luckily there will be the Pro Tour Gauntlet coming up on MTGO. Everybody, that is starting on this Wednesday. For a week, you can enter the Pro Tour Gauntlet,
I think is how you
And
say it.
I know.
Jauntglant.
You can enter the Pro Tour Gauntlet, and you will randomly get a deck that got how many points or more?
Ooh,
That got. It's not just the top 8 decks.
No.
It's a certain number of points or above. And you will randomly get one of those, and you will play a 3-round event against other players who also randomly got decks. So it's pretty awesome. And we are pretty excited. It is so much fun.
I can't find it. Anyway, yeah, I loved playing it last
said
time.
it on that website that you were just
did?
looking at.
I did. I'm a skim reader.
Yeah, obviously.
Boop 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 boop.
Well,
boop,
don't
boop.
quit. Go up.
Boop,
Go down.
boop,
Go up.
boop, boop.
Never mind. I was wrong.
Anyway, these are going to be decks that won and not decks that did not win.
Exactly. They didn't have to make the top 8, but they did have to do very well. And you will get randomly assigned one. It's a ton of fun. And it lets you, if you're looking at something like this top 8 and being like, I have no idea what to play, it'll help you make some decisions, man.
Yeah, and you don't have to spend, a huge chunk of money investing in a deck that you might not turn out loving.
Yeah, I think it's 6 tickets or 60 play points.
Yes.
To enter one of these.
Yeah,
so,
enter
deal. In, get lottery a deck, and see what you like.
So, notably also, not only was the format diverse, we had some really big names in this top 8.
Yeah.
Which excites me because not only is it great to see our heroes like playing in these top 8s. Like we had LSV in this top 8.
It's so cool.
We had John Finkel in this top 8.
His 15th top 8.
Yes, top 8 first Pro Tour, top 8 Pro Tour 100.
Which is so amazing. But I mean, when you've top 8'd 15 of them...
I mean,
it's significantly more likely. Like, at what point do they have him on the Hall of Fame ballot again so he can get inducted like a second time?
Double Hall of Fame?
Exactly.
That'd be pretty sweet.
That would be amazing.
He gets 2 steak dinners. And he doesn't just get a ring, he gets like brass knuckles. That's like...
Gets a brass knuckles of rings.
Yeah.
A literal brass knuckles.
Yeah. So I don't know, like Brad Nelson, notably in here.
Yes.
We just talked to him.
Not that long ago.
Magic the Pearl of the Ring.
Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
No.
If you want to check out that interview, go back and listen to it on iTunes or our website, as well as Tolarian Community College on YouTube, where the video is.
It is great.
It's a great interview.
He is a wonderful interviewee.
Yes.
If ever you're wondering, should I interview someone? Yes. Who should I interview? Brad Nelson. We highly recommend.
I mean, he had some really heartfelt things to say about, you know, his quick rise to the top when he started doing poorly, then after that, and how he managed to climb out of it. I would recommend any Magic player listening to it, especially if you want to improve your game. I mean, we asked him too, we're like, how are you so good at Standard? Like, he's known for being insanely good at Standard.
And he just practices. An
yes,
F-ton.
He has a special secret, which I don't want to reveal here, but it's in that video.
Right. Go listen to it.
Yeah, that was an interesting answer, too. So, yeah, Magic the Pearl of the Ring on YouTube. Search for it, Brad Nelson.
Anyways.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, the reason I'm really happy to see these people, this is relevant to our later discussion, too. Yes. I want to bring it up, like, because I love seeing players like John Finkel, players like Brad Nelson, players like LSV in the top 8, because you like identify with them, you like come along on their journey with them, you look up to them, but also it kind of reassures you that Magic is not only a game of variance.
Exactly.
Like, honestly.
Yeah, that it's a game of people who consistently work really hard and get really good.
Yep.
And it's awesome. And I feel like mostly what you said, it's just so nice to like see a lot of people consistently do well, because it's like
I can do it.
It's so much easier, I think, also to empathize with someone who does well, like across a series of like events and a series of years, because it's like, I understand what's happening. I get that you are working hard to make this happen.
Right.
That you're setting goals, that you're putting work in, that you're usually like making trade-offs in the rest of your life. I understand, like, I get that. If it's just, you know, like one one-off win a couple of times, then it's like, well, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't have a story for that person.
Right. You haven't had a chance to come along for the ride with them, essentially.
Exactly.
And have a quote-unquote personal relationship.
Yes.
With Christ. Sorry, I'm with Magic players.
Yes. Maria, wake up.
What year is it?
Personal relationship with robots.
Yeah.
What? No, that's not what I meant.
So, which deck do you want to talk about first? I mean, I think it's this one.
I really want to talk about Seasons Past control.
Yeah, John Finkel's deck.
Oh, man.
Seasons Past. Who saw this coming? Not me.
We're talking about if there wasn't the Pro Tour Gauntlet, if I was just going to go home and like build one of these decks, it would be this one.
I mean,
it would just be Seasons Past control.
So great.
4 copies of Dark Petition? Yes, please.
What? You know, they kept talking about Pyromancer's Goggles as being the card that kind of broke out. It got its chance to finally shine.
Yeah.
It wasn't played last Standard at all.
Yeah.
And now here it is. And I think the same could be said for Dark Petition, because like people are like, oh, this Tutor. Well, Tutor is very powerful. Like, very powerful. It's not getting played. Well,
this
here
card
it is.
has seen play in Vintage. Vintage playable Dark Petition.
Yeah, it only has 4 creatures. Kalitas, Trader of Get, and Nissa, Vastwood Seer, sort of a creature.
Yeah.
So,
She's a creature a lot of the time.
You know, yeah. She drops down as a creature. But it's got 4 Dark Petition, 4 Languish, because kill everything.
Kill it all.
3 Ruinous Paths, you know, kill everything.
Kill everything.
Notably, 2 Seasons Past.
Ooh, draw so many cards.
4 Grasp of Darkness.
Nice.
That's kind of like the engine of the deck is Seasons Past, and kind of
like this Dark Petition suite, kind of.
Yeah. So you kill everything.
Yeah.
Then how is the engine of this deck work?
So it starts out with a little early disruption. You have some Transgress the Minds for some hand disruption, and then you have cards like Ultimate Price and Grasp of Darkness to kill off creatures pretty early. Obviously, you also have Languish, which can, if your opponent especially is like an aggro style deck, you can kill off a lot of things very quickly.
Gets Avacyn
if you need to. Yeah. Kalitas is nice because they're, you know, control decks do need some life gain, especially in a format if there's like a lot of burn or something like that, like hasty creatures. Anyways, and that's also nice. It means that your opponent's creatures get exiled when they die. It has a lot of power. You know, you can like things die and you get zombies and you can put put counters on Kalitas. Anyways, and then, you get into the late game, and the way that you dominate the late game once you've disrupted the early and mid game is you Seasons Pass and you draw like 5 cards.
You draw the exact cards you need from your graveyard, and you play them again.
Exactly. It's like, oh, what did you play? Did you play an Avacyn?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll get back an ultimate price.
What?
Oh, did you play a bunch of small creatures
again?
Yeah, I'll get back my Languish.
No!
Oh, is my life total really worrisomely low? I'll get back this Kalitas.
And it's great because, as we've noted on the show before, Seasons Past just goes right back on the bottom of the library.
That's so true.
Go get your Dark Petition, tutor it up again. That's why you only need 2 copies.
Exactly. It's amazing. It's really amazing. And then you can Dark Petition for Seasons Past, and then when you cast Seasons Past, you can get back Dark Petition.
Oh my gosh.
Maria, it's so beautiful.
This deck seems absurdly powerful.
Yes.
I would be terrified to play against it, playing my little dudes. They'd be very scared.
As you should be.
So, I don't know. Seasons Past, what a great deck.
And I think, it's so cool to see a card like Seasons Past make an appearance at the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Because you look at it, it's like 6 mana. Man, that's a lot, but it is powerful.
Great art, too. Great art.
Oh, yeah. It's a great looking card.
This deck I also loved, courtesy of Brad Nelson and his team Eureka.
Yeah, that's right. He was a member of Team Eureka this time
And
around.
I want to point out another connection to Magic the Pro the Ring.
Yes.
MtA Zadelkaj, just kidding. MtA Zadelkai was on Team Eureka, and when we had him on Magic the Pro the Ring, we talked about team building.
Yeah.
And he was like, notably in the last Pro Tour, which is Modern, he was like, our team was really weak in the Modern constructed portion of the tournament, and we're really looking for a great deck builder. Guess what? They got Brad Nelson. And it was all revealed on Magic the Pro the Ring. I was like thinking about that. I was like, well, we could have. We were like, oh, we kind of got the inside scoop.
We got an inside scoop, except we didn't know it.
We didn't even know it.
It was such an inside scoop that we didn't know it had been gotten.
So this deck, as we said, kind of revolves around Pyromancer's Goggles.
Yeah.
Of course, which allows you to copy spells and choose new targets for the copy. And of course, playing Chandra, Flamecaller.
Yeah, Chandra. Whew, what a house.
Yeah, it's got 1 Dragonlord Atarka, 3 Worldbreaker.
Whew.
Because,
I mean, who doesn't want to exile some stuff?
And we've got Magmatic Insight, 4 Nissa's Pilgrimage, 4 Tormenting Voice, draw a billion cards.
So, like, ramp a bunch, draw some cards, Chandra people.
And then we've got Transversity Ulvenwald.
Yes.
Which is a green tutor if you happen to have Delirium.
Yeah.
So I think this deck usually can get Delirium because it also plays 3 Fall of the Titans, 4 Fiery Impulse, 4 Kozilek's Returns, 2 Hedronite. Yeah, so it's got the tools to have Delirium quite easily.
Traverse the Ulvenwald also just is a nice bit of,
just get your land.
Yeah, just get lands. But usually you want to have Delirium.
Yeah, so
cool.
I don't know. This deck I think is really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Very big and powerful, and it can just really turn a game around. Because when you can flashback, quote unquote, Kozilek's Return, I mean, 5 damage to each creature.
Jeez.
That's like better Languish. Sort of. So I've seen there was a couple of games when Brad was very far behind, and then he was able to Kozilek's Return and then get it back and deal 5 to everything, and it's just like, oh, okay, now I win. Yeah.
I mean, sweepers are big time game.
Another neat deck that people were talking about was LSV's deck, Black-Green Aristocrats.
Oh man, watching this deck play,
it's crazy.
It just there was never I never saw it seem like it was stumbling. It was always just sort of like, here I am trucking along.
Yep.
Sacking my things, very grindy things. It was great.
The nature, I mean, this is just Grindtown, USA, which is also the name of a club I went to in college.
Oh, jeez.
It was American themed.
I would never go to a club called Grindtown, USA. Just never. No. Not even a little bit.
Not even just, you don't even want to just look inside.
No.
Be like, what's going on in there?
No.
All right.
No.
It's definitely in some small town in Wisconsin where you find that.
Grindtown, USA.
Yeah. The reason it's so grindy is because it's not playing a lot of, big, beefy creatures that are going to do chunks of damage. It's playing a lot of tiny little dudes and collected company. And it's got some ways to get value that way through, like, Nantuko Husk. So you can make your Nantuko Husk giant by sacrificing your little dudes and just pumping them up to a crazy power and toughness.
Yeah.
We've got Liliana in here doing her thing.
Yeah, we have Westvale Abbey.
Westvale Abbey.
So you have yet another sacrifice outlet because you have Zulaport Cutthroats in there.
Yep.
Which is a great way to gain and drain.
Yep.
And Westvale Abbey is yet another way to sack all of those creatures.
So it's so funny because this deck has a number of ways that it can win. It can win through Zulaport Cutthroat, draining your opponent. Or you can just frickin' Westvale Abbey and soar over them with a giant demon.
Exactly. It is very powerful. And watching it play was super awesome.
I think this is one of the more difficult decks to pilot.
Yes.
I would say. Just because of all of the triggers for Zulaport Cutthroat, Catacomb Sifter, knowing when you should Westvale Abbey and when you shouldn't.
Yeah.
A lot of difficult decisions. Piloted very well by LSV, of course.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
This is a deck we probably thought we'd see more of. Shota Yasaoka's Esper Dragons.
Yeah, Esper Dragons making a comeback.
Yeah.
It had a little bit of it was on a downslope. People thought maybe, as Dragon Lord Ojutai, time to put him out to pasture. Just let him graze.
Where's Dragon Lord Ojutai going, Mom?
Just to a farm.
But what do you mean? Why would a dragon go to a farm?
Oh, just because it's a nice place for dragons to be. He'll have other dragon friends there. He'll roll around in dragon fields.
Why are you lying to me, Mom?
I'm not lying. I don't know. Understand.
This is the same face you have when you told me you still love Dad.
This got dark and weird. This got dark and very weird very quickly.
Yeah. Dragon Lord Ojutai.
Not only that kid's dragon died, but apparently her parents were no longer in love, but were lying to her about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
Jeez.
She was young. They wanted to pull the wool over her eyes, but she's a smart one. She can also move things with her mind. Backstory on that kid.
Okay.
Some Matilda action.
Yeah. No, I understand a Matilda reference when I hear it.
Dragon Lord Silumgar. Jace, Vryn's Prodigy, 4 of them. And, of course, your normal kill spells.
Lots of powerful blue-black kill spells. What's white in this deck?
What is white in this deck?
Tell me what's white.
Ojutai.
Yeah.
That's it.
That seems about right.
Yep.
Ojutai, still a powerful honkin' dragon.
It's really a honker. 5-4.
Don't say that. I'm sorry I said that.
What? It's
honking?
It's honkin'.
No. Nothing should honk.
There is more Esper over by Seth Manfield. Esper Control.
Yeah.
So we're not seeing the dragons in here, but we are seeing
He says, I can
Sphinx.
control people without dragons.
Yeah.
What Sphinx are we seeing?
Sphinx of the Final Word.
That makes a lot of sense.
And we learned a little something from Ian Duke, member of R&D, that Sphinx of the Final Word was put into this set, not this set, but because it was trying to replace cutest card, Pearl Lake Ancient.
Oh.
They're trying to give them something else big for the top end of blue to play around with.
Makes sense, and everybody knows how successful Pearl Lake Ancient was.
Yep.
That was sarcasm, everybody. Some sarcasm.
I mean,
it saw some play. It saw some play. But there were always just better options. Poor Pearl Lake.
It was very cute, though.
It was very cute.
So, yeah, no dragons, but one Sphinx of the Final Word.
Interesting. Well,
2
you only
Jace.
need 1.
Narset. 3 Narset in here. Narset is somebody we haven't seen around.
I know. And I'm really glad to see her. Every time I see her, I'm like, hey, Narset.
Hey, Narset, what up, girl? Yeah, so that's really
you
cool.
Look cool.
1 Obnixilis and 2 Sorin Grim Nemesis.
So, a very common, I think, control strategy, especially when there's just been like a rotation like this, is that you will see decks like this that are like, do you know what's powerful? Planeswalkers. So let's take a deck
and put all of them in there.
All of the powerful Planeswalkers in there.
I mean, it worked.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, man.
So this is the deck that actually won the tournament. Steve Rubin's Green-White Tokens.
That's right. Congratulations to Steve Rubin.
Yeah, great work.
Green-white tokens. Let's hear more about that.
Well, we've got 2 planeswalkers in here acting as super friends.
Gideons.
Nissas and Gideons.
Uniting.
And we have creatures, all of which are 4-ofs. Avacyn, of course, Hangerback Walker, Sylvan Advocate, and Thraben Inspector.
Oh, yes. Thraben Inspector.
Like,
Time
what?
of the sun.
Like, all those other cards are great, and then Thraben Inspector.
So many people gave me crap when our first Innistrad draft, when we had that friend draft.
Yeah.
I drafted 3 Thraben Inspectors, and I was like, this card is just great. And in that deck, it was also just great, because my draft deck had a bunch of Angelic Purges and stuff like that. It was great because you put it down, and then, later on you put down Nissa, and you start putting counters on it.
Yeah.
It's great.
So why is this deck called Green-White Tokens? Well...
What tokens?
Hangerback Walker produces tokens.
Makes tokens.
Once it's dead.
Nissa makes tokens.
Nissa makes tokens. Gideon makes a token.
token.
Secure the Wastes.
Makes tokens.
A lot of tokens.
That's right, it does.
And then you're putting counters on everything.
Counters on everybody. Counters for everyone. Counters for you. Counters for me. Counters for them. Counters I see.
We have Dromoka's Command giving counters.
Yep.
But Thraben Inspector is really interesting in this deck, I think, because especially when it played against decks that were playing Reflector Mage.
Yes.
So if you put a counter on Thraben Inspector with Dromoka's Command or with Nissa or whatever, people don't really want to bounce it.
No,
because
you get another clue.
Clue.
Exactly.
So, interesting.
And some people have noted that this was Thraben Inspector was also a good way to protect Nissa.
Yeah.
A difference in some green-white decks that played Thraben Inspector versus didn't. It's a really good way to protect your Planeswalkers, because like you said, they don't want to bounce it. And even playing something like a Grasp of Darkness on a Thraben Inspector, it's like...
Ugh, feels gross.
Great.
Yeah. We had Bant Company, Andrea Mengucci.
Yes, came in second.
Second place. This is a deck you've been playing a lot, Megan.
I love Bant Company.
Why don't you talk about this little beauty?
Bant Company looks very similar to how it did, honestly, pre-rotation. It has, at its core, Collected Company and a bunch of really cheap, powerful creatures, most notably Jace, Vryn's Prodigy, and Reflector Mage. And then the new decks play stuff like Duskwatch Recruiter to help you get more creatures. Sometimes they play Tireless Trackers. And, of course, they've got our buddy Avacyn in there.
Yeah.
Some bounce with those Reflector Mages, some late game oomph with Avacyn.
I like this deck. It was consistently performing very well over the weekend, and it's very versatile and powerful.
It is. It's
nimble.
So versatile.
It's nimble.
That's a great word for it.
Because it's like, oh, you're doing this, how about I do this? Oh, you're doing this? Well, I'm going to counter with this.
Yeah.
It's able to kind of reconstruct itself to make it relevant in all of its matchups, was kind of what I was seeing from it. And our final deck was Red-White Eldrazi Goggles.
Ooh.
From Luis Salvato.
I really love everything. I like anything with goggles.
Yeah, goggles.
What was someone saying? Like they should call the red-green goggles deck. Let me goggle that for you.
Brad tweeted out this picture that was like, the goggles, they do something. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Anyways. So this deck, similar to the one before, except it's red-white instead of red-green.
Yeah.
So what are we getting with our white?
Notably, we're losing such creatures as Worldbreaker.
Yeah. We're getting Nahiri, as well as Eldrazi Displacer.
Nahiri.
Yeah.
Exciting.
One of.
Nice. And Eldrazi Displacer, a very powerful card.
And then it's playing like Goblin Dark Dwellers, Matter Reshaper, Thought-Knot Seer. There's our Eldrazi.
So this sounds like a little bit more aggressively themed.
Yeah.
Than the red-green version.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's got a few more creatures that are a little bit lower casting cost, but it's not like your mono white that's clogging the board with 1/2s and 2/1s and whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And 3 Pyromancer's Goggles, of course, playing similar spells like Fall of the Titans, Fiery Impulse, Fiery Temper, and Lightning Axe. Similar sort of bent to the red-green, just a little bit different take on it.
Pretty cool.
The Mono White Humans deck I wanted to talk about really quick was because...
Of course you do.
This one drew my fancy. Hey, if they're not going to give me red-black vampires, Megan, what am I going to do?
I don't know.
I'm going to have to do Mono White Humans. Control. Maybe one day I'll see the light about Control.
Oh, it's a beautiful light.
This one's from Pat Cox. Okay, we've got 3 Anafenza Kintree Spirit, of all things. She's back.
Friend.
Yeah. Anointer of Champions.
Which
is like a great draft card.
Yes.
Giving your target attacking creature +1/+1. 4 Dragon Hunters is a 2/1. for 1. Expedition Envoy, of course. White of the Night Orchid. 3 Kytheon. We got Thalia's Lieutenant, Thraben Inspector, 4 Town Gossipmonger. So yeah, it's just very aggressive. 4 Declaration in Stone is the way you deal with stuff. And of course, 4 Always Watching to pump everything.
Nice. I did see, I believe it was a green-white deck at the end of day 1.
Yeah.
It was Christian Calcano and someone else.
Oh.
And it was, at one point, the person playing, it was either mono-white or white-green, had like 3 copies of Always Watching.
Oh my god.
It was awesome.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was going to look it up.
And then they played Thraben Inspector into Thraben Inspector.
Nice!
Yeah. And it's like with 3 Always Watching, you just played 2 4/5s for 1 mana a piece.
So, yeah. Really fun decks. We're going to definitely be trying these out on Magic Online.
Oh, snap!
Hopefully recording some draft videos for you guys.
Absolutely. And we mentioned before, but we're doing the Community Super League, which starts this week. And the first week is Pro Tour Gauntlet week.
I know. What deck are we going to get?
Who knows? It's actually totally up in the air.
Yeah, could be anything.
We have no control whatsoever. So check it out.
Or we might have control, if we get a control deck. High five myself.
Yes.
Premier Play changes.
That's right. Today, at the Sunday,
yes,
which is the day on which we are recording, but not the day on which you are listening,
no,
unless it's a Sunday in the future. Anyways.
Yeah, so if anything has changed from this discussion, keep in mind it was recorded on Sunday.
Yes. Also, Sunday in the Future is the name of my forthcoming album.
Oh, that's a great name.
Thank you, right?
Is it like kind of like laid back?
Yeah, it's very chill.
Okay.
But also like a little melancholy.
That's your average Sunday.
Just your average Sunday in the future. Laid back, but a little melancholy.
So they usually use Pro Tours, Wizards does, to make big announcements about Premier Play and about upcoming Pro Tours and big events.
Absolutely. And there were some big announcements, like where next year's Pro Tours are going to be.
Yeah, we've got Dublin happening.
Oh, snap.
Which makes me extremely excited.
Yes.
Nashville.
Ooh, which is pretty
That's
cool.
pretty cool.
Very cool.
All right, they're going back to Japan.
That's right.
Wow.
Going to Kyoto.
Albuquerque.
Sure.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
And Nice, France.
Ooh.
That's pretty great. Yeah. So those are just your average announcements.
Yeah.
But then the other foot kind of fell, and Wizards.
That's.
The shoe dropped.
Then the other foot fell. And...
You know what I sound like? I sound like somebody whose English is their second language and they don't know idioms yet. Oh my God.
I think that's vaguely an insult towards people who have English as a second language.
I
would argue that they know idioms better than you just expressed them.
Like, when you're learning... the other foot fell. Mine is way more dark. The foot was gangrene and it just dropped off that leg.
Dropped off. The other foot, they already lost their first one.
The other shoe dropped.
Yeah.
As I meant to say.
Yes.
And they announced something that has made a lot of professional players and content creators, people in the community, pretty, I think, sad / upset / frustrated.
Yes.
To put it mildly.
Angry.
Yeah. / angry.
Yeah. And understandably so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
So to put it in perspective, we're like partially through the season.
Yes.
Right
we're
now.
most of the way through this season.
Yeah.
The current season ends at the end of May.
Okay.
Which will then start the next season.
Sure.
So this has been the 2015-2016 season. The 2016-2017 season starts at the end of May 2016.
Okay.
And goes through May 2017.
And that's relevant because some of the things which they decided to change, it affects people who have been playing towards a certain goal previously in this year.
So what happened is they announced that the Platinum Pro players will no longer get a $3,000 appearance fee for Pro Tours. They will instead get a $250 appearance fee.
Wow, I can't do math, but that's a big cut.
That is $2,750 per Pro Tour.
Oh, boy.
Difference.
And there's 4 Pro Tours a year, so that's a big chunk of people who are trying to people are trying to make platinum because of these perks.
Oh yeah, right? Absolutely.
This is how they fund their lives playing Magic.
It's one of the biggest differences between being a gold pro and being a platinum pro.
Yeah.
is these appearance fees.
Right.
You know, it's a huge perk, and understandably, platinum is much harder to achieve than gold. These are people who go to tons of Grand Prix, just so many, go to all of the pro tours, and are also putting in the practice to consistently do well at these events.
Right. Then they need to consistently do well, because it's not like once you're on the gravy train, you're on there for life.
No, you are there for the remainder of the current season and, very importantly, the upcoming season.
Right.
So players who were working towards making sure that they had platinum locked up for next year have been working towards that goal since May of last year.
That's a long time.
That's a full 11 months.
Yeah, it's almost
a full year that they've been working towards that. And then they suddenly got told, hey, this thing that you've been working towards for 11 months is now worth $11,000 less. Yeah.
It's kind of like Indiana Jones going on a quest for the Hope Diamond.
Yeah.
And he's right there. His hand is going to touch the diamond. And then it turns out it was just the Hope coal chunk.
Which is also, valuable, but only for several minutes in a fire. Or like a nice barbecue.
Like he had
so we're not saying
he had lots of booby traps.
Exactly. He had one of his former colleagues who's now kind of jealous of his current success and fame, double cross him and backstab him along the way. Yeah. That's also a thing that he had to put up with.
I mean, to me, we should mention, it's not only Pro Tours, which their appearance fee has been reduced. It's also been reduced to $250 from $1,000 for the World Magic Cup and $250 from $500 for the World Magic Cup qualifier.
Yes. So lots of events affected.
Yeah. I mean,
and a big pay cut. And I think, the biggest outcry about this is people are like, okay, I get it to some extent. I don't know that it's a good decision to make these cuts, long term. I don't know if that's
No, Cat is stealing things from the podcast.
I don't know if that's a good thing long term for, are people not going to be able to maintain a lifestyle as a pro player without $11,000 a year.
That's a good chunk.
A ton of money. So what incentive is there for people to try and be such a high level professional player?
So Wizards' reason for making these changes is so that they could increase prize pools in other events. They want to compete on an eSports level with other eSports, which offer pretty big prize payouts to first place, etc. Yeah. And so they want to mimic that. And so for example, the 2016 World Championship first place worth $70,000. Yeah. So and the total prize pool is $250,000. So that's quite a bit of money. And then the 2017 World Championship will be first place $100,000.
I mean, which is insane. And that has a total prize pool of $500,000. Yeah. But at the same time, those other esports are not like professional Magic.
Oh, for sure.
At all. The coverage setup for them is completely different. The sponsorship setup for them is completely different and very well established. Yeah. Notably, which Magic doesn't have, really any sponsorship setup. We're talking about big outside companies, not Ultra Pro Sleeves sponsoring somebody. We're talking about, giant corporations sponsoring events or sponsoring teams or sponsoring players.
I want to be a pro player and I want to be sponsored by Pfizer, the drug company that makes Viagra. Because I will rise to the top. It's just one example.
There's and if you are looking to become a pro Magic player or a pro esport player by getting a sponsorship, you can use that material.
Yeah, yes.
Go ahead, just please cite Maria somewhere.
So I've been saying for a long time that I think that these big events should pay out higher than they do. Yes. And I believe that's true. So I applaud Wizards for making that decision. However, I think taking it away from another area isn't necessarily the way that we should go about it, especially if we want to maintain the storyline, which I think is one of the reasons that's kept me invested in Magic for so long.
Oh, absolutely.
Of following these players and looking up to them and learning from them and just being so invested in their story.
Yeah, exactly. And like we said before when we were talking about it, like it's so cool and it's so much easier to empathize with the story of a player who has been, again, like grinding the GP circuit and grinding the Pro Tour circuit for years, who you know where they're coming from, you know what they've put into it. That's a big part of the appeal of watching these things and being invested in these events. If we
can, I know that they want to push sponsorship for these players, but viewership of their events is not very high compared to other esports. Exactly. So it's just not valuable for a company to put their money behind a player for an event that won't get a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know how, I'm not a marketing person. I don't know how you fix that necessarily.
Yeah.
But I just feel really bad for these players, especially the ones that got the rug kind of pulled out from under them
and
near
that's
the end
what I was
of the
going to
season.
say before is that, like, so some people are like, okay, I get that you're allowed to, like, you can make this decision. I don't know if it's the best idea, but you can make it. But then there's, like, I think the part that people are like, I don't know that there's any way that you can understand or justify or feel okay about Wizards doing this at the end of the current season, saying everything that you've worked for this year, it's actually not, like, you worked for $11,000 more than what we're going to give you. We just decided that.
So Brian Kibler
put so much time and effort into this.
Wrote on Reddit, the real issue here isn't even the appearance fee cuts, but rather the timing, as you said, of the communication. Lots of players have spent time and money trying to reach platinum with the expectation that it was worth 11 grand more than it will be after these changes. This is incredibly deceptive and disrespectful of WotC toward their most dedicated pro players. If they'd announced it at the start of the season, or if it went into effect after next season, it would still suck, but it wouldn't be the bait and switch treatment this is, unquote. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's how a lot of pro players are feeling right now.
Exactly. And it's like, again, I think then you would look at it in the light of, I don't know if this is actually a good idea, because how are you going to maintain a pro player how are you going to maintain a pro player
base on?
Yeah, exactly. Or what's the word that I'm looking for? It's nice to it's good to have a pro player base, right? It's not just you're not just maintaining this pro player base and it's like, well, why would you do that? Like, why would you want to maintain 35 people who are at all of these events? It's like, well, it's really good for your brand.
Yeah.
It's really good for people watching. It's really good for people aspiring to all of this stuff.
I think something, if you want evidence of that, people would listen to our show, not only because are we hilarious and great.
We're wonderful and charming and witty and delightful.
But also because people were interested in our story. And that was kind of the main thing that I've heard over the years from people of why they listen to this. Like, oh, it was really neat to see your progression from beginning players to where you are now. And I want to be along with you as that happens. Much like anybody will watch, sit down and marathon Game of Thrones or whatever. Narrative is a part of our lives.
Narrative is so important, and I think that this just completely disregards the importance of having those stories.
Yeah.
And I think what they don't realize is that esports that have a big prize pool also have ways to maintain those storylines and maintain sets of players that people are going to see working and see again and again at these events.
It is dang hard to be a professional Magic player.
It is. I have thought multiple times, I do not envy that.
No, neither do I.
It would be awesome to, play at a PT or, top 8 a Grand Prix, but hot damn.
It's a lot of work for not a lot of pay.
No.
A lot of long hours.
Yes.
I mean, it's awesome in one way, but another way, we can't diminish how tough it is already to be one. So, with this cut, it's kind of like, well, you're going to have to find 11 grand somewhere else.
And that is not easy. Speaking from an artist perspective, as people who try and knowing a lot of people who try and make livings as artists, it's very similar in the fact that 11 grand in that lifestyle is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because you're not about, it's not about 9 to 5. It's about putting your heart into something, and creating a lot of material and creating a lot of content. And in this case, creating results and finishes. And and piecing it together that way.
I'm interested to see what will happen in the next few days, because it really has been, I mean, people say the community goes crazy after WotC announces anything, but there has been a pretty significant backlash, and I'm interested to see what the response will be from Wizards. So far, we haven't really heard very much. Hélène Bergeau, director of Organized Play, has been tweeting a little bit about it. She said, "We decided to make the change ultimately to make pro Magic better. Hopefully pros and aspiring pros will realize that."
Well, I think if they helped us in some way to understand why they thought that at all, that would be really helpful, because right now it's like, I can't understand that, and I don't.
Maybe they have some crazy plan that we don't know about. I don't know.
Who knows? But if so, you would think that now would be the good time to announce the other half of that crazy plan, because right now it just looks like a terrible plan.
Yeah, so I don't know what will happen. Like I said, I'm interested to see in the coming days. Meghan and I are really big supporters of pro players out there, not only because of the reasons that we've said, that we love watching them play and following their story, but also because they take time to come on our show and help us create content. And they've been models for us in our own content creation. So we stand behind the pros, and hopefully they'll get a fair shake in coming days.
At the very least, some sort of situation where it's like, hey, everything that you worked for last year.
Yeah, it isn't for nothing.
JK, guys!
Just kidding. Hold on to the next year. So yeah.
Oh, boy.
We're interested to hear your thoughts on this. Please tweet at us at MTAcast on Twitter. You can shoot us an email, magictheamateur@gmail.com, or connect on Facebook. Facebook.com/MTAcast, or read literally any tweet from any Magic person.
Also, there's not going to be a modern PT anymore. Feel how you will about that.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on.
Community Super League.
Hey everybody, this week is the first week of the Community Super League. What is that, you ask? Good question, we answer. So are you going to tell me about it, you ask? Yes, we answer. When, you ask?
This is the worst.
Now, we reply.
It's just the worst. The Community Super League, it's much like the Vintage Super League, which you know and love from Twitch.
I'm so hungry.
Meghan, okay, if you listened to the last episode, you know Meghan was on just like, she was dying of hunger. She wanted some Indian...
No, not the episode. That was when we streamed.
Oh, when we were streaming. Okay.
The last time we were streaming, I was so hungry.
So hungry. Wanted Indian food.
Yeah.
And now you
ordered it, and it was supposed to be here 15 minutes ago.
Where is
it? But
it's
not here. I don't know.
Somebody order Meghan another thing of Indian food and send it over. She is dying.
Please. Anyways.
Yeah. Community Super League. So basically the Super League is, there's a bunch of people, and we're all battling it out against each other.
That's
makers from the community.
That's right.
And we're playing some very silly formats.
Yes. And also not silly ones.
And also not silly.
We're starting this week, as we mentioned, with the Pro Tour Gauntlet.
Yep.
I still can't...
Jauntlet.
The Power Tower.
No. The Power Tower.
The Power Tower
From now on, the Pro Tour will be known as the Power Tower.
So people in the league include, obviously, us, other wonderful podcasters, the Girlfriend Bracket, Aaron Forsyth from Wizards, Gabby Sparts, Marshall Sutcliffe, our own lovely, wonderful friend and owner of this YouTube channel, the Professor at Tolarian Community College, Wedge over at the Mana Source, Loading Ready Run, and Kenji and Paul Cheon.
Yeah, we should mention too, great job to Gabby this weekend being the first woman to commentate on the Pro Tour.
I don't think she was she the first? I feel like someone else did it in the past.
Really?
I mean, Jackie Lee did the World
Magic Cup. I'm thinking specifically Pro Tour.
I don't know.
Maybe back in the day somebody did.
You never know about back in the day.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
never in the modern era.
Yes.
In the modern era of Pro Tour coverage.
Props to Gabby.
Nice work to Gabby Sparts.
So, we've got our work cut out for us here, Meghan.
Old-timey newscaster says, listen, Gabby, you did a great job. Extra. Read all about it. I'm so hungry.
It's a good thing we're two heads in this tournament, honestly.
Yeah, because there are some big brains in this.
Yep.
There really are.
So we've got 9 weeks of the regular season of this. Every Thursday, we'll be on twitch.tv/magic, streaming it up for you. Hopefully my computer won't explode.
It won't.
It's really hot.
Yeah.
It makes me worried.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
You could take it in?
I could. It's just like 1,000. It's 1,000 pounds.
Oh.
I might take it in tomorrow, though.
I can carry it.
Anyway, so yeah, 9-week regular season, and then the top 3 will advance to a playoff show. Every week's a different format.
Yeah.
So we've got No Ban List Modern is one of them that's been announced.
Which we are not prepared for.
No.
But very excited about.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will.
Momir Basic.
Which we lobbied hard for.
We did lobby for that.
We were like, he was like, oh, we're thinking about maybe we do like Momir or something like that. We were like, yes, Momir. Momir, please.
We've got Iron Root Chef, which we crushed at the Community Cup.
That's right.
So
coming for it again.
We're going to take it down. Nobody's going to pry that statue out of my hands. You hear me?
I was trying to do like cool hands, but I just ended up with jazz hands.
Like this?
But mine are like a little
You're a very bouncy jazz hands.
They're groovy. They were trying to be groovy jazz hands. They really failed.
And of course, there's Tribal Wars happening too.
Yes, which we have already we've unofficially selected.
Yeah, but we've got to draft. We have to draft them. We have to draft the tribes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know, because we have one that we really want.
We really want.
And I let Randy, I was like, Randy, we better get this. But if we're drafting, there's no way.
Okay, yeah.
So maybe nobody else will take it because they don't think it's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, that would make a lot of sense. I feel like tribes that will go quickly are like goblins, elves.
Humans is not allowed.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
OP.
Yeah, totally OP.
Let's see. I think we considered we had talked about being like shamans.
Yeah.
That was one of my worst but better ideas.
Angels? I don't know. It has to be something like
angels would totally
X% of your deck. Bad. I can't remember.
But anyways, none of those that we named are the ones that we wanted.
What do you think it is? Tweet at us at MtA Cast. We won't tell if you're right, but we will wink at our computer screen if you are.
That's right.
So please tune in twitch.tv/magic starting April 28th. That's this Thursday.
That's right.
Oh, I'm so excited, Megan.
Me too.
Not only will we be playing, we'll also be doing some commentary as well.
That's right. So you can see our faces and hear our talkie talks.
Yep. We'll be doing like just not just your run of the mill dry. Not to say that anybody is, but we're not going to be like, and Kenji has played his magic card.
Okay, maybe you're not going to, but that's all I'm going to offer.
And he has tapped his forest mana for green.
Gabby has drawn a card. It's a card. There are now 7 cards in her hand. She plays a card. 6 cards in her hand.
And I'm going to be the color commentary person who's only going to tell lies about the players, but nobody will know. Did you know Gabby Spartz was originally born Marguerite Spencer?
And that she was once a professional gymnast.
She was.
Unfortunately, she had to actually change her name because after her debut and only Olympic appearance, she was so embarrassed by a fall from the high beam that she went into hiding.
A lot of people wonder what Gabby uses for shampoo because her hair is so lovely.
Yeah.
Turns out it's dirt. She just rubs it in dirt and it looks beautiful.
Magic.
That's the kind of incorrect facts you'll hear from me. On the Community Super League coverage.
Absolutely. So tune in if you want to hear lies and only the boring basics.
you sounded like a British golf host for sure.
Everyone, please clap.
No.
But quietly.
He selected a 5-iron. The green is approximately 230 yards away. He swings.
And
a miss. Oh my. That'll cost him a stroke.
That man is dead.
That man is dead.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Once again, hop on over to patreon.com if you would like to support the podcast and what we do here for your ears. Every dollar helps us help you.
Yeah, you're actually, if you're watching this on video from Tolarian Community College on YouTube, you may notice that our shot looks a little bit different because we were able to purchase an actual light for lighting.
It's an amazing light.
It's really great, and it's all thanks to everybody who supports us on Patreon. So thank you.
Exactly.
Looks
it's
beautiful.
an amazing light. I did not know how fancy and professional lights could get.
Yeah.
This light is fancy and professional.
It's the real deal. We were lighting this room with like a light fixture that belonged to my living room, and it was like a glowing ball that was built, I think, in 1972.
Yeah, and it was set up on a stool because it wasn't tall enough by itself.
So janky.
Anyways.
Thank you for letting my great glow ball go back to its home in my living room.
Absolutely. You can follow us on Twitter at MTAcast, tweet at us, or email us at magictheamateuring@gmail.com. Purchase shirts and playmats at magictheamateuring.com as well. And again, get them quick because they're going as fast as the Darkness's third album, Hot Takes.
See you this Thursday on Twitch.
Peace out.